Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hbar is breaking out. Look at this. It's really impressive. You can see when we hit the bull market support band, we are now up approximately 66 up to say 60, between 60 and 70%. And the last time I put out an Hbar video was 2 weeks ago. Here's the video here, Hbar Wyckoff accumulation heading into a retracement. You can see it's kind of blurry, but basically that was the thumbnail. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend going back and watching. This is exactly what I was thinking was going to happen, a big breakout upon the back test of the bull market support band, in which we got. So you can see, and I just put out a theta video, and I actually forgot to mention it, but essentially, if you see Hbar, if Hbar can do it, why not theta, right? And yeah, so you can see this, basic update here. We broke out, and we are breaking out. And basically what we have here is an accumulation range. And you can see this accumulation range. Let's put it down to the bodies of the candle. There we go. Is a complete bullish engulfing breakout. This is very, very, very good news for the price of Hbar, but not just Hbar. A lot of the other coins out there. This is, it's been a long time coming. I mean, think about it. We were essentially here back in May 22, right? So May 23. So it's been a long time. What, a year and a half, basically. So here we are breaking out of this range, and I've been saying that this range is a Wyckoff accumulation event, and even that, you have a shoulder, a head, and then you have this bigger shoulder here, and then also you have this move all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you shoot up, and then you drizzle, then you continue breaking out. But what does all this mean? What does this mean? Well, it means exactly what I thought, which is what? We're heading back into the retracement levels. And same goes for theta, right? A lot of people were unsure in here. A lot of people didn't know what was happening. I mean, even in here, a lot of people thought, Bitcoin's going to 10K, 8K, 9K, 14K, whatever K. It didn't make sense to me because we had the fourth and the fifth. We had divergence. We also don't go down in a straight line. A lot of times after the crash, we go into a retracement. And that's exactly what I thought with Bitcoin. And since Bitcoin is now at its retracement levels, now it gives the opportunity for coins like Hbar to catch up, because look at that, it's still pumping a little bit there. Because a lot of times Bitcoin, right, if I put Bitcoin up, you can see the price of Bitcoin, right? It likes to go first, and then once it's in its retracement levels, right, Hbar goes sideways as Bitcoin goes up. Once Bitcoin gets into its retracement levels and stalls out, that's when Hbar catches up rather quickly, right? The big question is, what happens up in here with Bitcoin and Hbar and all the rest? To me, it looks like we're probably going to go, we had the rise, the crash, the retrace. Probably looks like we're going to go down into reaccumulation and then continue higher. So that's for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's going to go into reaccumulation, how does Hbar catch up? And it usually catches up when Bitcoin stalls out. I mean, you can see right in here, right? Bitcoin was gradually moving up as Hbar was going sideways. Then once Bitcoin got to the top, that's when theta really started to rip to the upside, right? Obviously, it moved down a little bit up here, but look at this. We went up, Bitcoin went sideways, right? As it went up, Hbar was sideways. As then Bitcoin went sideways, that's when Hbar caught up. Then Bitcoin continued higher, H-bar went sideways. Then Bitcoin went sideways at this very, very top. Then that's when H-bar had its final move to the upside. So H-bar is following Bitcoin. Now, if you fast forward to where we are now, look at this. It's the same story. It's the same story, right? And this is another reason why I thought a breakout is very likely, is because you have the same thing, H-bar going sideways, Bitcoin going up. Now, since H-bar broke out, that tells me, and Chainlink broke out and others, right? That tells me that Bitcoin is likely gonna stall out, just like how it stalled out over here, right? So a little stall out is fine. So we can see it come down, do this, sideways. So basically, let's look at Bitcoin going into a range. As Bitcoin goes into a range, that's when H-bar can catch up, right? Highly recommend watching the previous videos. I don't want to go all into detail on that again, but essentially that's basically what it is. So if we see Bitcoin have a pullback, we can see H-bar have a pullback. We see Bitcoin oscillate back to the upside. That's when we can see H-bar fully break out and get back into its retracement levels. Because when Bitcoin goes all the way up, then it goes into distribution. People rotate their Bitcoin into the altcoins because the altcoins are still down here, right? So the altcoins have to catch up. Then once they're all caught up, then Bitcoin can decide, is it want to go into a new bull market, or is it going to go down into reaccumulation and go sideways? I think it's most likely going to go down and go sideways, then go into a new bull market. And the way that looks, if I could just take this off real quick, or actually let me just show you on the Bitcoin chart. And let me get rid of that. Basically what that looks like is this. If you haven't seen my Bitcoin videos, it's either a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways blast off, right? Or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, then go, right? Or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're gonna break out, right? Or an ABC in the middle, and then another correction here, right? So boom, 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 boom. Kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders, or even a cup and a handle in here. But I think we're going to come down and go sideways, but not right away. I think it's going to take a little bit of time. And as it takes that time, it's going to go into a range, just like how it went into a range in here. If you look here, right here, we went into a range, we broke out. We went into a range, we broke out. Now it looks like we're potentially going into a range again. So if we want to break out, we're still going to range. If we're going to go down, we're still going to range. And the range is the good part. Why? Because that's where H-bar catches up. If you look at this right here, these little ranges right here, that's when H-bar broke out. And especially this big range right in here, that's where H-bar broke out. And you can say, yeah, well, that was during a bull run. This is not a bull run. This is a retracement. Well, exactly. And that's what we're not, saying that H-bar is going to go into a bull run. We're just saying, hey, let's let it go into a retracement. So H-bar is down here. As Bitcoin goes up, now Bitcoin chills out. Now H-bar is catching up, right? So there you go. That's H-bar. Let me go down and explain a little here. So basically, like I said, I put a video out 2 weeks, and I was talking about Wyckoff accumulation and where I think H-bar is, and you can see it's not this type of schematic. It's actually the different schematic. So there's two different schematics, but just for time purposes, I'll just leave this one on the screen. So basically, you have this move to the upside, move to the upside. You have this move to the downside that takes out the low. You have this move to the downside that takes out the low. Then you have this quick move back to the upside, quick move back to the upside. And then it sort of meanders around and then breaks out. This one actually takes the low out because this is, again, a different schematic, but it's the same logic applied. So we have this move to the downside, move to the downside, and then what I really liked about it here is we have this 1 2 1 2. So it looks like we have a 1 2 1 2, and now we're in 3 4 5 4 5 potentially. right? But anyway, so you could see, right, we can come up here and maybe oscillate a little bit, then continue higher, just like how this green circle here, we oscillated and then broke out. So if I draw a line right here, right, you can see we're cupping into the resistance. We cup into the resistance, right? Cupping up. So you can see this W here. So cupping in to the resistance, cupping into the resistance, cupping into the resistance, break. So we hit 1, 2, 3. We're knocking on the door. We broke out. Now what? Now we could back test the breakout level, continue higher until we get to the retracement level, or just continue higher. But to me, it looks probably like we will get some type of a slight pullback. I think, just going to the price of theta real quick, you can see how similar it looks. So if you look at this, and now look at this, right? It's the same, a little slightly different. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, go. So same thing with theta. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, go. This one was the other Wyckoff accumulation event, but you could see theta has not broken out like Hbar did. Hbar had a full breakout. So let's see if that continues to happen. XRP, and what's very interesting is all of this is lining up with XRP being at a critical area in this fractal. So, if you look at the fractal, it looks like we're going to go down. I mean, we're right at the end of that fractal here, so it looks pretty intense. I mean, we can look down the barrel of the gun looking at March all the way up to $4.30. Potentially, maybe not, I don't know. But according to the fractal and according to XRP on the grand theory here is, to me, it's already completed what it needed to, right? Which is a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Just like how it did down here, right? Rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. So Hbar, shouting out XRP. Hbar is in the same family as XRP, right? So I thought I would mention XRP. That's a big reason why I'm very bullish on XRP. If you haven't seen my XRP videos, I'm not going to go into detail, but essentially not breaking out into a new all-time high, right? We haven't broke out in over 6 years. XRP has one of the biggest bases, the biggest base in crypto history. I'll repeat that. XRP has the biggest base in crypto history. So while the rest of the market was having fun in 21, XRP was at the gym working out, right? And now it's time to get on stage, and now we can see who looks better, right? So XRP went into a retracement, never broke out. Now it's coming down here, so you see this little cup and handle forming, and that's exactly what I think Bitcoin's going to do, just on a bigger scale, right? Right, rise, crash. So essentially, XRP's retracement is right here, right? So we come down, we go sideways, continue. It's all speculation, of course. This is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong. These are just ideas that I'm sharing with you, and essentially, I'm really liking where XRP is at the moment. But again, it's not an XRP video. It is an Hbar video. Hbar broke out, which gives more probability of other coins also breaking out soon. So the thing with XRP, to me, it looks like a diag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, go, right? Or better yet, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, go. So that's that for XRP. If I zoom out a little bit more, I mean, obviously everybody draws the contracting triangle, right? So you have an A, B, C, D, E, go. And that's the same thing, right? That happened here. A, B, C, D, E, go. Triangle, right? So you can say, well, how does an XRP break out if Bitcoin's only in a retracement? That's true. That is true. However, Bitcoin was already in a bear market as XRP broke out into this monster wave here. So, like I said, it would be great if Bitcoin can break out into a new all-time high, consolidate, or it'd be also great if Bitcoin can just, go sideways. That way it allows the alts to catch up. Now, I'm not necessarily saying XRP has to break out into new all-time high, but if I put the Fibonacci retracement down here, at least let's get back up into a retracement, because we had a bear market. We had a little retracement that got us up to almost to the 618. But, in reality, we can actually get even higher, the 702. Bitcoin had a retracement just, now to the 702. So the 702 for XRP is around $2.30. So it's a good possibility that XRP can, as Bitcoin is distribution or reaccumulation or simply, consolidating, going sideways, that's when XRP can catch up. That's exactly what happened over here. And that's what happens with, with Hbar as well. So we can see a bigger move up. And then it starts to paint the picture of this beautiful W pattern. W's are bullish. It's also a cup and handle. It's also a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. And it looks like if we do get up here, there's a good chance we can continue to go. Because remember, XRP only takes a couple days and it can shoot up massively, right? So people say, well, it doesn't have enough time to go on a bull run. No, XRP doesn't need time, right? I mean, just look at THETA. It only took 20 days for it to go to a certain level all the way to its high. So XRP, same thing. It only needs like 2 weeks and it's done. And 2 weeks is a blip in the wind for Bitcoin, especially as it's ranging. So just something to think about. If I go back to, now let's go back to Hbar. Well, first, real quick, total 3 also has room to the upside. So if I put a Fibonacci on this guy, right? I mean, we're still not even near the 618. So again, we have plenty of room between 800 billion and 930 billion. So somewhere up in here, we're waiting 1, 2. Maybe this is a 1, 2. Now we're going into 3, 4, 5, right? And as we do that, that's when we can see Hbar fully break out, XRP and THETA, right? Because if you look at THETA, right, well, look what happened. We broke above the bull market support band. We back tested it. Now we're continuing to go higher. Let's look at Link. So look at Link. Link, right? We broke out. We came down. We have this area. We broke out, right? So look at THETA. Same thing. We have this bull market, bear market. We have this sideways base. So same thing like Chainlink, same thing like Bitcoin. We can break out and get back up here. There you go. So THETA total 3. Still have room to go. Where is Hbar at? Right there. So now this is Hbar video. Also, including the other alts too. But essentially, what do we have? Well, again, on the zoomed out scale, you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can get an A, B, and then we can come down for C, retest these areas and go. Or to me, what's more likely is probably not something that bad, but more so a rise, crash. We have a base, and then we have another base back testing this base. So we break out, we come back down, then we develop another base that back tests this base. So you have a low, higher low, higher low. So not necessarily the price, but the bases. To me, the bases are important. The bigger the base, the higher in space. So when price goes sideways, people get bearish, but that's when you got to get bullish. If price is going sideways at the top, then that's when you want to be bearish, right? So, but it went all the way down. So this whole wave right here, take this whole wave, the price came down about halfway on the wave, created a base. That tells me what? We're probably going to retrace. If we get to the retracement, then what? That's the hardest part. The hardest part in TA is to figure out what happens during a retracement. Do we pull back, continue higher? Or do we go into a bigger, we come all the way down, we back test this area? Because look at this. Let me take everything off the screen. It's getting a little cluttered here. And I'll put a line right here. Or actually, let me put this right here. And I'll draw all that out. And then I'll say, okay, we broke out. You know, we pull back up here, right? We get up here in the retracement levels, right? Usually when we go into a retracement, we usually take out this peak here. So about 26 cents is usually, you know, between, I would say between 18 and 26 cents is usually right whereabouts it goes. And you can see it's all open air. This is all open air right here. All open air. So once theta breaks this last area right here, it's a slice, it's a hop, skip, and a jump, and you're right there. You slice right through it. So you see how we sliced up? As soon as we broke this, we instantly went down. So here's your line here. We break out. You're breaking out now, so it's pretty quick, and we're going to get up here, right? Now, of course, you want to close the week. So if we go to the weekly chart, it's not totally confirmed on a breakout until we close. Okay, so we have 6 days. So the week just started. So you want to close above about 9 cents. Or actually above, yeah, a little higher than 9, about 0.092, around there. So we're actually pretty good right now. So maybe we, you know, consolidate, go sideways a bit, then continue higher. It depends on how Bitcoin's going to start forming its range. But nonetheless, when we get up here, right, this is your range down here. We get up here, then we can most likely come back all the way back down and back test the breakout zone. Then go sideways a bit, then continue with the bull run. It's not going to just be a straight line up, just like it wasn't a straight line down. So there's always, you know, you go up, you go sideways, you go down. You go down, you go sideways, you go up. Once you go up, you go sideways, you probably go back down. But you have, like I said, a low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So there you go. Let's see what happens. Hbar is a utility-driven coin. It has been around actually quite a while. Not this chart here, but I remember seeing it on the Mike Maloney's YouTube channel. It was a video that was put out like, I think like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know if the coin was out then, but they were working on it, I guess. So it's different than a blockchain. It's definitely got utility, but you know, that's not for me to say. But for me, I'm looking at the chart and it looks pretty bullish, especially this structure in here where you have this V bottom, then you kind of slope down and you make this little U shape, and then you break out of that area, right? So yeah, it's looking really good for Hbar. It's a good. Now, does that mean go out and buy it right now? I probably wouldn't. Now let's zoom in. Let's zoom in and get a little closer. So you're getting a little rejected here. If I turn on sequential, we had a 9 a little while ago. Let's get up to the 8-hour chart. Okay. So let's take everything off and look at it objectively here. So to me, a couple things can happen. Number one, This is this is a sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in 5, right? And then another way you can look at that too is this is a 1, 2 of the third 4, or I'm sorry, of the fifth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how all that shapes out. In the short term, we'll just look at this high right here, and we'll, we could see obviously we broke out, but let's see if we back test it. And that's the big thing, right? You come down, and that was the big point of my video I put out about 2 weeks ago, is when we were down in here, I go, okay, this is a good time to put out an Hbar video. Why? Because I'm pretty confident in what I'm saying here. Why? Because we had this impulse up, we had this correction down, we had a break above the bull market support band, and we back tested it. So I was very confident that we were gonna start to take off. Now, I didn't know, is it going to be an A, B, C, and then go? Is it going to be a rise, crash, reaccumulation sideways, then go? Or is it going to be a 1, 2, and then just go right away? And it turns out it just went right away. And hey, that's great. I'm happy for that. So now that we broke out, maybe we can pull back a little bit, back test this area, then continue higher. Right? Worst case, you come down a little bit deeper and then continue higher. So regardless of what happens in the short term, zooming out into the big time frame, actually, let's go to the weekly chart. Or actually, let's go to the 2-week chart. There we go. I'll take that off. Look at that. The 2-week chart called the 9 pretty nicely. The 9 sell. Right? So we came up, we had a 9 sell, and that marked the top of the price. Then it created these red dots, and it couldn't, for the life of it, get back above those red dots. So basically that 9 printed the resistance line, and that resistance line was now the resistance for the price, which ended up being the top, right? So then we had a 9 buy, but it wasn't a reversal, it was just a pullback. We had another 9 buy. This was a reversal. We came up, then we had another 9 buy on the bottom of this pullback, right? So in other words, it's probably a 1, 2, right? So the 1 called the bottom of the 9, the 2 also, the 9 called the bottom of the 2. Now we're going up into wave 3. In wave 3, we have a 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is really bullish. If this analysis is correct, right, the way it's looking is very bullish. We have not only we have a big 1, 2, but in the middle of the third wave, we also have a 1, 2, 1, 2 in the third. So now we're probably in the third of the third. So this thing can get up here pretty quick. Then we pull back into wave 4. Then if we're lucky, we can break out, or at least get back up into here in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then if it's going to be rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off, then it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then an ABC, maybe a little sideways, then go. And that whole thing ends up being what? 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5. And that whole thing ends up being what? 1, 2. This whole thing is wave 3. So we've already had wave 1. Now we're in the beginning of wave 3, the biggest wave of them all. I mean, look how small this thing is. 1, 2, and now we're in 3, 4, 5. Now, where could it go? I don't know. Let's see. Let's pull a fib on here. I'll pull that all the way down. Now, a lot of times, wave 3s end up breaking above their linear scale targets, right? So that's right about there in that linear scale area. Not trying to be pinpoint exact, but let me get rid of that now. Okay, so if I pull it up again, I should have just left it there. And I go here, I'll go to settings, and I'll turn on the fib, right? So that's about right. So we're right about that. So my idea would be right between, if we break out, it's only when we break new all-time high. This is talking later down the road. So right around there. That would be the idea. So between 145 and 315. Now, if it wanted to blow all of our brains out of the water, then you can, probably, I would think between $6 to $8 up to $10, maybe, but I don't think it's possible. I mean, who knows? You never know with crypto. I mean, Dogecoin hit its 3.272 in linear log scale. I mean, which was insane. So it really depends what's going to happen. But we don't have to talk about that now. The big order of business is getting back here. Then figuring out, once we get here, do we do this, or do we do this, or do we do this? Regardless of which one, I think it's probably going to be the middle one. And then once we break this, then it's on like Donkey Kong, right? So there you go. Hbar is looking very bullish. I mean, just look at it. I mean, it's got a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got a down move with Wyckoff accumulation, with a sideways base, with an impulse and a low and a higher low, with a break of the bull market support band, with a back test, with a breakout. I mean, come on, how much more can you get? So there you go. That's Hbar. Thank you guys for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. So if you could, that would be amazing. If you can leave a like, a subscribe, and a comment, it really help a channel like mine out. I think there's somewhat of a gap out there in YouTube land as far as my style goes in TA. I lean towards the more longer, more methodical look of it rather than the nitty-gritty of what some people do. But anything is great because I value all opinions and feedback, and I think this channel is just another puzzle piece into your portfolio of channels that you come, day to day or week to week to check up on, to see how your hodling portfolio is doing, where to potentially DCA. Even though this is not financial advice, it's all opinions, right? But an extra opinion alongside other opinions help people gauge an overall picture of what they believe is going on. Because at the end of the day, it's up to you what you think is happening. So if you want more of these videos, I'd really appreciate the subscribe. It'd be amazing. And if you have any coins you want me to take a look at, drop them in the comment section below. Maybe I'll do a video on it. And you can always follow me on X. And yeah, that shall do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.